Oh, good afternoon.
You know that I just heard that go then.
Really?
Yes.
Good afternoon, this is Chum and Son. With me, Son, and this is Chum.
Yeah, if you hadn't gathered by now.
We're doing a spoiler review. Spoilers!
I mean, we
we
don't have to just start out with spoilers. We can just give out, our basic opinion and then go with spoilers later on.
Okay, well, what we'll do, we'll give our opinion of The Mandalorian, another Star Wars thing. We're going to give our opinions first, and then we'll do a spoilers thing after.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, do you want to start, Flynn?
Me?
All right.
Okay, sure.
Go on then.
The Mandalorian was good. I don't really have much to say about it, honestly. It was a good show. Yeah, honestly, that's about it. You can tell it's gotten some inspiration from a lot of other places, like some old westerns and that. Like the story, the plots of like the individual episodes, they're very kind of basic and like kind of somewhat predictable, sort of. But like, I'd say overall it was good. That's not really too much of a problem. I'd say that's the only flaw of it, really. Other than that, they somehow made this character who you only see his face once. Like, you only have that.
We're a non-spoiler.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not said what his face looks like, alright? But yeah, so you have this character, you don't even see his face often, I suppose. You don't really see that, and he conveys a lot of emotion with it just through like his body language and all that. You have all these characters in it, all like interesting characters as well, bar like a couple here and there, which I didn't really like, but they're only in like one episode. We might get into that in a bit. But yeah, and that's about all I'd say. Non-spoilery, or at least an attempt to be non-spoilery.
Well done, you did spoil one thing, but it wasn't massive.
No, not massive.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Well, good. I won't say brilliant, it was good. Potentially it could be brilliant. I'd say it was probably one of the best things I've seen since Empire Strikes Back. In fact, I'd say it was the best thing. It's definitely the best thing that Disney have done. Since they got hold of the Star Wars thing.
Better than all the films that they've made as well.
Yeah. Before we go into spoilers, what would you give it out of 10? Sure.
I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10.
Ooh, good scores.
Yeah.
I would give it an 8, but there's certain episodes I'd give a higher mark to.
There's some I'd give higher mark, and maybe there's like one
series of 8 episodes.
There was one episode which I kind of didn't like. But even that, he had a good concept. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to on spoilers now.
Yeah, spoilers now. So you've had your chance, right?
Yeah, you had your chance now. If you don't want to be spoiled, but if you want to watch this show and come back. Sorry, I'm just examining my dog's head. I do apologise. So I'll keep looking over.
Examining.
Yeah, because it's right there.
It's a weird word to use, though. Anyway,
you've
had your chance.
She doesn't give me a chance to examine her head very often, but it's right here now, right as I'm on bloody camera. Anyway, yeah, we're going into spoilers now.
Spoilers. You are shouting.
Spoilers now. What was the episode you didn't like?
The episode, I can't remember which number it was, but it was the heist one where they had to break the guy out of jail.
I didn't like that one.
Not particularly.
Explain yourself, damn it.
So the reason I didn't really like that episode, and it was simply because of one thing. I absolutely just hated the characters.
Yes,
and it wasn't particularly because it wasn't like how you hate I don't know, like a villain in a film or something. It wasn't like how you hate that in the sense of it's good writing and you kind of intended to hate them. I hated them because they were very poorly written. The dialogue was very bad between them, and they just seemed like very just boring and uninteresting characters.
Yeah,
and it's like
they didn't look boring, but I know
I'd say visually they were all right. What about there was the devil guy? I'd say he was a bit over the top.
Do you know what I liked about this episode, right? All these characters were crap, right? They looked good, but they were crap characters. But Mandalorian kicked all their asses. He made them all look like chumps. Did you think the Mandalorian was crap in that episode?
No. I'd say he was good.
It was good. Yeah. So
Baby Yoda was barely in it as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but yeah, this series, there was a lot of I wouldn't say criticism, but there was a lot of concern about not the Mandalorian character himself, but about this baby Yoda kind of thing that was hanging around with him, and he's a big plot point. What did you think of the baby Yoda?
I think it was done quite well. I'd say it was just kind of there. He didn't really. He did have an impact on the plot. The plot kind of revolved around him really, but he didn't particularly. He never really took away from it. He never really halted the scene to see what was going on with him. He was just kind of hanging around, and every now and then you kind of see what's going on and see how he's doing situations and that.
Yeah.
He didn't. I think how they wrote him was really good because he didn't really have too much screen time, and I think that was really important because I think if he had too much, then he'd have just become exhausting, and it was just like, okay, we get it, like he's there. But like I think how they did it was really good. Like just having him kind of there, not be too impactful, but impactful enough to have a reason to be there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I didn't find him annoying at all. I actually quite liked him. I thought he was
very good.
He was a very endearing character, and all he really did in it was observe most of the time. He did the odd thing, but he just kind of observed what was going on around him.
Helped out Mandalorian every now and then.
What do you know about Mandalorians?
I honestly I knew very little to nothing about Mandalorians. I only really knew a little bit from the Clone Wars, and even that I don't remember much. And in the films, they have Boba Fett and Jango Fett.
But they're not actually Mandalorians. No, they're not. They're just guys who've stolen Mandalorian armor and pretend to be Mandalorians. Mandalorians, right? In the Old Republic or around that time, they fought the Jedi. They were great warriors anyway. But the reason why they've got all these gadgets on them, on their arms and stuff, it's all anti-Jedi kind of weaponry. It's all weaponry to fight Jedi. That's essentially what it is. They've even got magnetic boots in the old Republic. They've had magnetic boots, so if a Jedi Force pushed them, they wouldn't move. They got all sorts of crazy stuff on their armor.
So their armor's basically designed to be Jedi proof.
I don't know whether it's lightsaber proof. I don't think.
I'd say you're going to struggle to find that sort of thing, but I mean their armor is pretty top notch.
Pretty durable. He gets the Mandalorian. I'm not going to call him Mando. The Mandalorian gets shot. He gets shot
a couple of times.
In
his armor, he gets shot a couple of times.
And you think, God, if that was Han Solo, he'd have been dead by now. If it had been a Han Solo series, which nobody wants, by the way.
No, Disney don't take ideas.
It would. They're going to watch this.
Yeah,
definitely. They're gonna. He does. But I thought he was a really good character. I really enjoyed the Mandalorian himself. I thought he was fantastic.
I think he was really good.
I thought he was the guy who played Oberyn in
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones played him, but he wears a mask most of the time. But he invokes more emotion than anybody in the Disney trilogy.
And well, I mean, I think one thing
he's amazing.
Yeah, I think one thing about this show, which kind of helped to flush him out a bit, was the fact that it was a show and they could really take their time with it. Whereas with the films, you've only got an hour and a half, 2 hours. In some cases, you get longer than that, but on average, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But you have about that length to kind of introduce these characters, give them a motive and flush them out. And it's possible, it's definitely doable. There's loads of examples of like characters that have been well developed in these films, but that. In the TV show, they've had in The Mandalorian, they've had a lot more time to just explain who the Mandalorian is, and they've taken their time, and because of it, you really kind of you learn everything in stages.
There's aliens in The Mandalorian as well. There's aliens.
There is aliens.
You don't get them. You don't get a lot of them in the trilogy with Ray, Pin and Foe and all that.
Ray, Pin and Foe.
Ray, Pin and Foe. They're selling to me. You don't. You don't get it. You don't see it. One of my biggest criticisms is they wanted to make this new trilogy diverse, but they didn't understand Star Wars. It was like the diversity of Star Wars is the aliens, not necessarily the colour of people's skin. I know that's important. Well, it shouldn't even be an issue. It should just be cast people because they're good. It shouldn't be an issue. But it's in outer space. Aliens, and there's aliens in this, and they're endearing characters.
That was one thing that surprised me about the new films. I'm just going to go off on a tangent about them for a little moment.
That's all right. We can slag them off. They're pretty awful. Really.
Yeah. But in the originals, you had Chewie. He was like the main character. He was like the alien, and then even the prequels had one. They had Jar Jar, but Jar Jar wasn't very good. But then in these new films, after
the first one, though, didn't they? Really?
Yeah, I suppose. He was kind of around, but you didn't see him. Thankfully. And then in the new films, you didn't really have any alien protagonist, I guess. There was no alien, I say main character, but, there wasn't really an alien in the main group. You had Chewie, but he was from the old ones. He doesn't count.
Yeah. Admiral Akbar was in it briefly, and Neenum, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But this,
not to go off tangent too much. Yeah, this had a large variety. Like that episode I mentioned earlier that I didn't like. There was a lot of aliens in it, and visually, for the most part, they were all right.
Did you like the little chap, the little engineer? He was my favourite character.
Oh yeah, that guy. He was cool.
He was really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, he was cool.
What did he say at the end of his sentence?
I have spoken.
I have spoken. He was a lovely character. Lovely character. And you find out later on that he worked for the Empire.
Yeah, he kind of worked for the Empire as like a mechanic or something.
He has a bit of a row with, what's her name?
I can't remember her name.
Well,
I can't really... That's the thing about this. I can't really remember any of their names. Although that's kind of me in general, so...
No, Mandalorian and Baby Yoda.
It's Mando and
They called it Mando for sure. I didn't like that.
Nah, well, I mean, I don't know. It was alright, I suppose.
Mando,
but if I say it in a British accent, it just doesn't sound right.
Carl Weathers calls him the most. Calls him Mando the most. I love Carl Weathers. And he looks great in this. He plays... he kind of gives him jobs, doesn't it?
Yeah, he kind of just gives him...
He plays kind of a bounty hunter himself. And I've met him. There we go. I met him at the ballroom. You know the story. I met Carl Weathers in Milton Keynes, of all places, at a kind of a Comic-Con-y kind of convention type thing. Yeah, I met him with a couple of friends. Straight the tassels on his jacket, and he accused me of being gay. Yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with being gay or not, but you know. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I met him, and he was at some point he cured by Baby Yoda, and I was like, "Oh, Matt Herman has been cured by Baby Yoda." But anyway, that's another spoiler.
Well, I mean, we're in the spoiler bit, so it's fine.
We're in the spoiler bit, so that's fine. Very basic story, reminding me of Kung Fu or The Littlest Hobo or something like that. You got the main two characters, Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, and they go on adventures every week. And there is a main plot, but most of it's about these two characters.
After the first 2 or 3 episodes, it kind of just goes off and does its own thing, and then the last 2 episodes it kind of wraps it all together. And I'd say there is still sort of an overarching plot. You can see it's building to something. That was another thing that I didn't like about that heist episode, is that nothing really came from it. I mean, sure, it was a somewhat entertaining.
It was don't cross the Mandalorian. That's all that. The moral of that story, that episode, is don't fuck with a Mandalorian.
Yeah, but I already knew that.
We already knew that, yeah. We did.
I could kind of guess.
That's very true.
Believe it or not, I could have taken a guess.
You don't mess with him.
I mean, they showed that in, what was it, the second episode, when he just ran away from that town and all the Mandalorians came and helped out and, basically killed all that town.
Yeah, they showed it in the first episode because he was a badass.
Yeah.
He was an absolute... He's a really... He's not complete. He's not immortal by any means. He's quite flawed in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there is a moment where he does almost die.
He does get over. He does. He does get overpowered quite a few times. But we fight. I've forgotten her name. That woman, Rhonda. Not Rhonda. Is it Rhonda? No, that's the other one. But she's mixed martial artist who's in acting now. I've forgotten her name.
Don't worry about it. But
she's a good character in it as well. She plays a shock trooper for the rebellion, and she falls out with that engineer a bit. The engineer's like, I was on the other side, but I was forced to do it, and all this. He's a good guy. You could have had the first episode, second episode, maybe the third, and then the last 2, and that would have been. You could have just had those episodes.
Yeah, you could watch that as a really long.
Yeah, you could watch it as right. You thought 4 episodes like that. The other 4 episodes are fillers a little bit, but they're good fillers.
There's that one where they introduce that woman, but I mean, you can just kind of, I don't know, I mean, that episode was all right. I mean, it was a decent episode, but it was
Gina Carrero or something. That's her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is. You're right. Have you got any more to add?
That robot guy, the IG-11.
He was great, yeah.
IG-11 was good.
Taika Waititi.
The guy who directed Thor Ragnarok.
He did his voice.
He did the voice of it.
And that was a good character.
Yeah, you didn't really see him much, but, he was a good character.
He was in 2 episodes.
Alright.
And tragically, he was in kind of in 3 episodes, but yeah, he's not around a lot. But he's like the IG one from Empire Strikes Back, but you actually see him in action, and he spins around, and he's got eyes that spin behind. I knew from Wikipedia about how these robots functioned anyway, and from watching the Clone Wars TV show, which is better than anything. But anyway, he's vibrating, moving around, he's like shooting. Beep, 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 beep. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think visually, it was very good and interesting, because it's I know you look at other robots in TV shows and stuff, and they just fight they just fight like normal people, but they also happen to be robots. Whereas this robot actually kind of took advantage of the fact that he was a robot and would I don't know, he held a gun with like a straight arm, just like small stuff like that. It's like a robot would be able to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no reason why a robot wouldn't be able to. And like, the head's spinning around and that, and he's spotting everyone and he's scanning. And like, he's withstanding shots as well. Like, yeah, of course. Like a robot that's designed to, be a bounty hunter, it would be like that. I guess.
I had a bit of criticism about that, but like he's a robot. He's a bounty hunter robot. And he was flawed. He wasn't like he was killing a lot of stormtroopers, but he was vulnerable.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, wow, it was really good. It could have been better. That's a good thing about it as well. It felt like they were. I think because of these 3 films that they've made, and because of Solo flopping. I mean, Rogue One did all right, and the first of the trilogy. But I think Disney are a bit paranoid now. They're a bit worried. So I'd say with The Mandalorian, it was great, but they held back a little bit. But I loved it. I loved the look of it. They didn't overspend on it. They did spend a lot of money on it, but it felt like a TV show. And it felt like the originals. It felt like the original trilogy a lot more. And I'm interested in Mandalorians. I mean,
I just think that you can tell though, like the visuals are good, but they didn't really do anything too flashy. Like like a lot of the sets and all that. It just like a lot of the sets just kind of are very like menial places. There's nothing. It's not like they're going here, then they're there, then they're there in like one episode. It's like no. There's only like 2 or 3 sets in like one episode, and it's like, but it's enough. It
and
does enough.
IG-11 looked really animated and clunky at times, especially in the last episode when he was walking. He was like kind of like he looked like something from an old from the old like special effects from Harry. What's his name? Who did the Sinbad films and all that? He looked a bit like that at times. I've forgotten his surname. I don't know, but anyway. It was really good. And it reminded me of the old TV shows as a kid, where your hero went on adventures every week, and like Flynn said earlier, a bit like cowboy films or cowboy westerns or samurai films. It was a bit like that.
Yeah, kind of how Star Wars started out with really. When we were watching like the Red Letter Media, they kind of did a talk about Mandalorian as well.
Yeah,
and they kind of pointed out that it was like partly Western and partly like samurai culture as well. And yeah. No.
Yeah, there was no silly explosions and
people
coming out from the dead being exploded.
There was barely any tie. I mean, there was like a tie to the Force, obviously, with Baby Yoda, but like there wasn't really a tie to the Jedi that much, and there wasn't really a tie to the Sith either. There wasn't really, it felt like it was in the Star Wars universe, but it wasn't like, hey, look at all this stuff. It was like. It wasn't like how, because in Solo there was just loads of, and in Rogue One as well, there was loads of stuff. It's just like, okay, did we really need this? Whereas in like The Mandalorian, like we say like IG-11, he shows up, but it makes sense that he shows up, and it's like it's an IG droid that shows up, and it's like I don't know, like all the things that pop up, it makes sense that they pop up. You see the stormtroopers, it makes sense that they're stormtroopers. You see TIE fighters, it makes sense that there's TIE fighters. Because you don't see them just for the sake of it.
No, because it's the fall of the Empire. The stormtroopers all look a bit weathered, and all their suits are all knackered, and they're covered in sand and dust, and they're all a bit pissed off. It's really good. Yeah. It's really good.
Can I just mention that one scene where the stormtroopers are like just kind of on the speeders just chatting about stuff?
Yeah, that was in the Taika Waititi episode where he directed. Yeah,
and then they shoot at the can and they can't hit it.
They're having a chat. It's really funny. It's really funny. I like that. That was a high moment. One thing that confused me, and I don't know if you can answer this. The shock trooper in it. She doesn't know about Jedis, and the Mandalorian himself, he hears about like these wizards that the Mandalorians used to fight, and they're trying to link them to Baby Yoda, these wizards being Jedis. One thing that confused me, in Return of the Jedi, which this is set right after, Luke's a Jedi, and he works for the Rebel Alliance. I don't understand why that shock trooper wouldn't have known. I don't know whether Luke was keeping it a bit of a secret from the other rebels.
Because like,
he was a Jedi Knight.
In the originals,
I thought it was like a bit of common knowledge.
In the originals, he never really makes it like common knowledge. I suppose he doesn't go around being like, "Hey, I'm a Jedi."
Like people just kind of call him Luke. Big, though, do you know what I mean? I don't understand why the shock trooper wouldn't know about Jedis.
I mean, I'm just kind of going off the basis that Luke didn't really make it like apparent. Because I mean, if you look around, like he kind of he's. I mean, if you look at him. In the originals, he's dressed just like a normal pilot. You know what I mean? He's dressed just like all the other X-Wing pilots. And he's treated the same as well. He doesn't have any like special care or anything. He's just like a normal.
And the Mandalorian is set outside in the Outer Rim as well, which is out of New Republic space. So I suppose again they might not have known, but then Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ben Kenobi in A New Hope, when he chops, what's his name, Ponda Baba's armour, like that, after they start a fight on Luke, you get the impression then that they all know what Obi-Wan is, what Ben Kenobi is. You get the impression from the funny pub, they're all like, shit, he's a Jedi, I know. But so it's a bit irritating in this trilogy with the Teletubbies, Bo, Finn and Ray and all that. It's odd that like it's been 30 years since Return of the Jedi in those, and like the whole concept of a Jedi is a bit of more of a legend. It's like almost forgotten about. Oh, you're Han Solo. Ooh, and it's like and I don't know. It's weird that people. It's weird at the end of the Mandalorian that people don't know who Jedi's are as well, really, because I mean, Darth Vader's a Sith, and I'm sure people know that. But anyway, I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, that was only like one small critique. And I see where you're coming from with that, but that's about it, really.
And I didn't like him being called Mando. That really bothered me. But I don't like people shortening.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I'd say I was fine with it. I don't know,
you found out what his real name was, didn't you, at one point?
I can't remember what it was. It was like the normal Star Wars stuff where it's like you hear it and you're like, pardon? You say that again?
Yeah, I forgot what his name
was. They've all got
was.
weird names.
It was a really funny name.
It's like I don't know. I don't even know.
But it was really good. Have you got anything else you want to ask or talk about?
No, not really.
What was your favourite episode?
Favourite episode? I don't know. Probably the one. I don't know. Maybe the one where the Mandalorians all come out at the end.
Yeah, that's good.
Have a bit of a fight. I don't know. It's all right, but even that, I don't know.
What did you think of the Iron Maiden that upgrades the weapons?
What about her? I think
she was all right. I thought she was a bit daft, but
yeah, I can see why you think that. But this is Star Wars; it's always been a bit daft.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it.
You've always got to take it with a pinch of salt.
I like the Mandalorians, and I like the fact that there were a load of them, even though we don't know what happened to a lot of them by the end of it. But I like them. I like the fact that it was like an RPG, and it was like the Mandalorian guy was getting upgraded as the show went on. Like he upgrades his armour throughout the course of the show from doing jobs, and then he gets different weapons. He gets a weapon which shoots loads of arrows out, and then he gets his jetpack at the end, doesn't he? And it's a bit like it felt a bit like a computer game as well, which I really liked. And I don't know whether that was a conscious thing, but it was really, really interesting. It was a real joy. Well done, Disney. Well done.
Yeah, you can see that they've set up a bunch of stuff for the sequel as well, like for a season 2 if they ever do one. I think it'll be all right. But I hope this doesn't kind of like, I don't know, because it has happened in shows where they kind of overstay their welcome a little bit. And I hope this doesn't happen with The Mandalorian. I hope they kind of, well, they make it go on for as long as it needs to go on, and then that's about it.
They barely did any marketing for it when it was released. So
that's true. They just kind of released it, really.
They've released it on this Disney Plus that we haven't got in this country, but we managed to watch it. Wink, wink, and thank you for the people who did that for us. But I'm still going to get Disney Plus probably because of I would have got it to watch this. Just idiots. Why didn't you release it in the UK as well, you fools? But anyway, there was hardly any marketing for this show. Like I say, it felt like they were playing it safe, but I suppose they're...
What do you mean by playing it safe?
They not a lot happened in this show, right? There was a lot of familiar things, which is fine, because it's Star Wars, that's okay. But, like I say, they didn't throw a lot of money into marketing and things like that. Even the special effects were a bit ropey at times, but I like that. But even that, do you know what I mean? They didn't, you think of that last film that we watched, The Rise of Skywalker, you think of all the special effects in that and all the daft shit that you saw and all that. It looked amazing. It looked absolutely amazing. And I thought this show would be like a show version of that, and it wasn't. It wasn't over the top. It was perfect. It was perfectly grounded. It was mostly practical effects, even Baby Yoda's practical effects, and he looks really,
I
really
think him being
sweet.
Practical effects is way better than having him CGI, because
he just looks
a lot cuter.
Just really funny. He just stares at things, and every time you see him on the screen, you laugh. You go, "Oh man, that's hilarious!"
Really
really
did a good job with Baby Yoda.
I did. He's a joy. He's an absolute joy. People who haven't seen this show yet have asked me what I think of Baby Yoda, and they're not convinced when I say he's a joy. They're like, no, don't be silly. He's irritating. Yeah, Mandalorian. It gets an 8, but certain episodes are 9s. I like the episode where he was getting his bits from the Jabbers, and you know, that was
a good
I
episode.
thought that was a really good episode, and he had to get the egg. Yeah, it was great, really good.
Yeah, and then they just ate the egg.
Just a joint, be like me and you, a giant cream egg. Ah.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, that about sums it up.
Yeah, same
25 minutes. That's
good for us.
That's good
well
for
done,
us,
mate.
hooray.
Yeah, we'll try and do a solo one. I've decided I'm not going to bother
Solo?
buying it though. Solo of Star Wars.
I can't remember it very well.
Yeah, we'll watch it again before we do a video. We'll do in the
I
next
haven't
video.
seen
We'll
that in
probably
like 2 years.
we watched it.
Yeah,
and it was it wasn't all that.
It was fine. It was fine.
But I came out shouting that it was the best Star Wars
You
film
did.
I'd
You
ever
said it was
seen.
brilliant.
I forgot my brain medicine that day. but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Overall, Mandalorian, solid. If you haven't seen it yet,
Thumbs up.
I'd recommend
it's
it.
5
but,
thumbs up from me.
You know, maybe don't get Disney Plus yet. Maybe wait until some more stuff gets on there.
Yeah, don't rush to it.
Don't rush.
They've not rushed to get it to us, so
No,
you know.
but yeah, eventually when you do get Disney Plus, because let's face it, everyone's going to get it. Streaming service is going to take off, man. Like streaming service is going to take over. Like
TV. Shows are going to be the future. The thing is with Disney, they're so stupid because this will probably be a success. They'll pump loads of money into it now, wreck it, market it to shit, and then they'll make loads of I've heard that they've cancelled that Obi-Wan show now, and they're doing a Darth Maul show. About Darth Maul's origins. I'm not sure about that at all.
Okay.
I don't think they should do. I like the Obi-Wan idea. I like that. I
like Darth Maul being a bit of a mystery, but
I don't want a Darth Maul show.
I can't really say I care. That's one thing with Disney. They keep answering questions we haven't asked. But anyway, we're not going to make this drag on for any longer.
Outside of the timeline, people, stop doing things within the timeline of these films. We want new things set before or after. I don't mind Jedi's and all that, but leave the timeline. I mean, it annoys me that the Mandalorian's, where it is in the timeline, because all that daft stuff that we saw in the Rise of Skywalker is going to impact it in some way. Also, I've heard that they're going to explain the First Order and how that was right. How that rose through the Mandalorian show. Leave the Mandalorian show small, doing its own thing.
Yeah, leave it to do its own thing.
We don't care about Palpatine and all that crap. We don't care. It was a ridiculous thing anyway. I'm really slagging that off. Watch the other video, you'll find out I quite like that last film, and all I've done in this video is slag it off. But there you go.
But anyway, we've been talking about 2 minutes for how we're going to finish this and keep it under 25 minutes. But you know what?
Yeah.
Right, we're done now. Overall, we think it was a very good show. Recommend watching it. When you get Disney Plus eventually, I recommend watch it, but maybe don't rush to get Disney Plus.
I don't know why you're picking on Disney for.
Because it's Disney, Dad. They don't earn my
Don't
respect.
rush to get Disney Plus. In fact, don't bother with it at all.
Because there's a
Just
Mandalorian
stream
and
everything illegally.
there's a Mandalorian and there's like nothing else.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyways, that about wraps it up.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Good one.
See you in the next one.
Safe journey.